This Tuesday, the runoff election for a Georgia Senate seat will take place, pitting Republican Herschel Walker against incumbent Senator Democrat Raphael Warnock. The Democrats have already won the Senate majority. Regardless of the outcome in this race, it has major implications in determining control of important Senate committees. What can we expect next week in the Peach State? Joining me now to discuss this is Cole Muzio. He's the president of the Georgia-based Frontline Policy Action, and he's the best-looking guy in Georgia. Cole, good to see you today.
Man, I just wake up every day hoping and praying I can be as handsome as you, Joseph.
Well, it's good to see you, my friend. You know, all of us, when normal people who are not in runoff elections in Georgia, you know, we wait for the end of election season. So our TVs no longer have campaign ads. And so our mailbox are no longer stuffed full with mailers. Does that just continue for you guys in this case?
It seems like it's nonstop. I mean, we had the runoffs in 2021, so why not do it again this go round? I mean, it's been nonstop. Thankfully, our election law, which has been rated the #1 election integrity law in the country in light of what happened in 2020, SB 202 has shrank the runoff time from 9 weeks to 4 weeks. So this go round, it's only been 4 weeks of blistering ads and nonstop political action. But thankfully, that will come to an end on Tuesday. But that also means that Christians only have today and then Tuesday, election day, to go out and vote and make their voices heard in this election.
What are you expecting out of this race? Has anything changed in the runoff portion of this, or is this essentially an extension of what was happening for months leading up to November?
Here's the big challenge. Right now, polls are showing that Raphael Warnock's ahead. I think the latest poll was the CNN poll that was 52 to 48. Right now, the numbers that we're looking at as we're seeing who shows up to vote in this election shows a skew towards Warnock. I mean, Warnock's got to look at these numbers and feel pretty good. The big difference that is concerning is that Brian Kemp is not on the ballot like he was in the November general election, which Brian Kemp won by 7+ points. Big turnout win over Stacey Abrams. Brian Kemp is helping Herschel Walker this go round. But the key for people to remember is they have got to go vote, whether you like Herschel or not. And that's been part of the big challenge is, you know, there were a lot of Kemp Warnock voters. There were a lot of Kemp voters that then skipped on down the ballot. We have to make sure that people realize, even if you think that there are two bad choices on the ballot, and some people love Herschel Walker, some people think we've got two bad choices on the ballot. Even if you think there are two bad choices on the ballot, you have to remember there's one evil choice that we know is on the ballot. Raphael Warnock supports abortion on demand. He supports biological males playing girls' sports. He's a pastor who says that Easter is about your own self-discovery, not the resurrection of Jesus Christ. We have to make sure that we oppose Raphael Warnock. And so even if you're not inclined to be super enthusiastic about either candidate, this election really matters. The differences between the candidates are stark, and you have to show up and vote. And so election day is going to be huge. And today is the last day for early voting. So Christians have to make sure to show up either today or Tuesday, or we could find ourselves in a 41-49 Senate, which looks starkly different than even what we have today.
Now, Cole, those are some strong words from you. And of course, not everyone agrees with you. One of those who disagrees with you would be former President Barack Obama, who's been campaigning for Raphael Warnock and against Herschel Walker. I want to play a bit of what he had to say about this campaign and get your reaction. Let's play clip one.
So I'm talking about what a good football player he is. But I also have to acknowledge that I do not think he had either the competence, the character, the track record of service that would justify him representing Georgia in the United States Senate.
Now, Cole, what's your reaction to that?
Well, first of all, we got to remember, why is Barack Obama there? Barack Obama is there because Joe Biden can't come here. Joe Biden has a radical liberal agenda that Georgians strongly oppose. Only 40% of Georgians approve of Joe Biden's job performance. And Raphael Warnock has voted with Joe Biden just about 100% of the time. And so bringing Joe Biden here is a reminder to people that Raphael Warnock is nothing more than a rubber stamp for the Joe Biden agenda, which Georgians oppose. But Barack Obama makes a point. Experience matters. And here's what we know about Raphael Warnock's experience. He's run a camp that's been under investigation. He's run a apartment complex out of his church that is evicting people on low rent housing. And Raphael Warnock has spent the last 2 years in the Senate opposing everything that Georgians value. He has supported the Joe Biden agenda, which is jacked up inflation. He has opposed life even up to birth. And he has supported the idea that biological sex is just a construct. This is a pastor that opposes every value that we have. And yes, the experience that Barack Obama points out is a valid point. But we need to remember what Raphael Warnock's experience is, and it's not something that we can send back to the United States Senate.
And one point before I let you go, I do have one more question, but I want to emphasize kind of the question here about, does this even matter? Because the Democrats are going to be in control of the Senate. If Senator Warnock wins, it would be 51-49. If Herschel Walker wins, it would be 50-50. However, the Democrats would win that tiebreaker. The difference would be if it's a 50-50 Senate, that means all of the committees in the Senate are 50-50. And that means it's much easier to stop bad legislation at the committee level than it is if the Democrats have a majority in the Senate body itself, and then they would therefore have a majority of every single committee. It's a little bit inside baseball, politically speaking, but it is a really big deal when it comes to advancing legislation. If the Republicans have the same number on every committee, it's much easier for them to stop harmful things. Now, Cole, in about 30 seconds, what are you encouraging people in Georgia to do?
I'm encouraging them to go vote. Make sure they're showing up either today or on Tuesday to cast their vote for Herschel Walker. Make sure that you're telling all your friends to go do the same. Talk about it on Sunday. Look, you're going to run across people in church that are not enthusiastic about either candidate, but make sure that you are telling them that their Bible, that Scripture is clear on the positions of the candidates, and they need to make sure to go vote, exercise the biblical citizenship, and go vote for Herschel Walker, who takes positions that align with our values.
Cole Muzio, Frontline Policy Action. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you and FRC.